What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We're once again using this Parish Trap team built by Leonam TG, which has a pretty standard core with Kingdra Polytoad and Gothitelle, and then some cool things like Escavalier, Incineroar, and Rillaboom to really round things out. So looking at this first match, it is Venusaur, Incineroar, Torkoal with Grimmsnarl, Urshifu, and Thundurus. This, I think, is a really, really tricky lead for my opponent. And the fact that it's so hyper offense, it's really kind of hard to deal with. I think Incin overall is a great lead. I kind of like Incin Gothitelle. I don't know. I do want to set up Trick Room, but obviously Torkoal makes that really hard. But at the same time, I feel like if we can do that and bring out Polytoad, we are in a good position. But even then, Escavalier doesn't really work. I'm going to go with that and then bring Polytoad, Kingdra in the back. I think even if we don't use Gothitelle for Trick Room, having things like a Hypnosis, I think, can be very valuable. We can automatically trap them and set up ideal situations for us, so we can do things like allow Polytoad to come in while they are trapped. So we are going to see Urshifu and Thundurus. This is a really good lead by my opponent because of the fact that we really don't have a good option. We are giving them the Defiant boost. So now what I'm thinking is we do have a really good way of setting up Trick Room in the fact that we can go for a fake out onto Urshifu and then Trick Room with the Gothitelle, and we are luckily going to be sashed, so even if they hit into us with Thundurus, we're going to be fine. We are going to see a Protect from them, which I think is really smart. And now the question is this going to be... Okay, so they're just going to go straight for a Wild Charge into Gothitelle. Gothitelle takes that very well, actually. I'm actually surprised. And we are going to be able to get off this really important Trick Room. So now what I think is... we can Parting Shot into the Urshifu. I like Parting Shot into Urshifu. Actually, no, that doesn't matter, because Surging Strikes is always a crit. Let's Flare Blitz into Thundurus and go for... let's go for do I want to Hypnosis into Urshifu? I kind of want to. Yeah, I mean, I don't have an attack move. I think I have to try and put Urshifu to sleep. We are going... I could have actually Helping Handed. I think Helping Hand might have been a little bit more valuable, especially because of the fact that Thundurus lives, but we do get a burn, so that's nice, because it is going to go down at the end of this turn, and more importantly, we are going to connect with this Hypnosis onto Urshifu. So I think we're in a really good spot, because now they are only guaranteed one more attack, and it's a burn, so that Superpower did a little bit more than I would have liked, as a result of this crit, but we are going to see them take Recoil and then go down from the burn. So we do have a Sleeping Urshifu, which does have at least one more turn of sleep, and I think whatever they bring in, we can safely go for a Parting Shot. Okay, so we are going to see Torkoal, and I think that that's fine. That is going to reduce the damage of Surging Strikes, which is important. The question, though, is how many turns are you going to be asleep? I think we go for a Parting Shot here and a Protect with Gothitelle. I don't necessarily expect the Incin to live if they go for something like an Eruption, but I think it is nice. They do go for a Heat Wave, so let's see if this connects or misses. They are going to miss on Incin, and I think that that's a really big deal. Now, this is actually a little bit tricky, because I want to bring out Polytoad. I could also bring out... I'm going to go with Polytoad. I think reducing the damage from Torkoal is important, especially given the fact that we do have Fake Out on Incineroar. And what I want to try and do is set up a position where they are forced to have the rain be the final weather. So we do get in Politoed pretty safely. So I want to go for a Scald here and maybe switch. Oh, they can't switch out. Oh, I'm going to Scald Helping Hand. I forgot I have Gothitelle out. Right, so let's try and get a big Scald onto this Torkoal. The fear, though, is, yeah, Urshifu waking up. They are going to protect, which is fine. I have no reason to worry about Urshifu right now. They are going to, unfortunately, get a yawn off into Gothitelle, but I don't think that that's a big deal, especially if we pick up this knockout with the Scald, which we do. Because now we're in a position where they have Venusaur in the rain, and this pretty, I don't want to say useless Urshifu, but this Urshifu that hasn't done anything. And interestingly enough, their last is actually Incineroar. So they don't even have, what's it called? They don't have Venusaur. So I think we should be in a really good position to go straight for a Perish Song and then a Protect. Yeah, I think that is a little bit risky. If they fake out into, I expect them to fake out into Politoed, but I still would like to pretend that this will work out. They are going to max, and I'm guessing they're maxing probably Incineroar, right? This actually, I don't want to say this is over, because there still is a lot that can happen. We are going to see max Urshifu, which is pretty fine, because of the fact that they don't have guaranteed critical hits on their max moves, and we can bring out Kingdra to go for a Hurricane after we finish, what's it called? After we finish the Trick Room turns. So we are going to see Fake Out, and yep, very smart, into Politoed. They are going to get the flinch, and going for a Knuckle. Interesting. Knuckle into Politoed. Politoed takes it super well, and what that means is we are going to be faster. The main issue is the fact that, yeah, Gothitelle is asleep. So let's see. Twisted Dimensions are normal. There's 2 turns of rain left. And I think I'm going to switch out into Incin and just go for a Hypnosis. I just want to reduce their attack, because then what I can do is... this is actually still tricky. Because, what? I need to max guard. What? If I max guard with the Kingdra the first turn, because this is, there's one more turn of rain after this. We are unfortunately going to let them get a +1, but, what are they going to do? If they knock out Gothitelle, it's actually really bad. Is it necessarily really bad? Let's see. Because what I'm thinking now is, okay, great. They're going to go for a Snarl. Gothitelle is going to live. So now, yeah, we do have Kingdra to come in. We do have that option of Hurricane onto, or Max Airstream onto the Urshifu. We are faster. Oh yeah, we are faster because of the rain still being up. I'm going to go into Urshifu, and then I'm just going to try and Helping Hand. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Helping Hand with the idea that we will bring it down to its Sash. But the question is, what? Do we live after? This Gothitelle not having any attacks for 4 support moves, I think is really causing some tension right now, because like I don't actually know how much damage I'm going to be doing into this Urshifu. But we do get the speed boost onto King. Wow, it lived. But I mean, what? Their only main option is a Max Knuckle at neutral, I think. But they do manage to get a Snarl, which is not going to be fun. Kingdra takes that. Probably not as well as I would have liked. Because it was a crit, but I still don't think that that's going to matter because now we've broken their sash, and we can substitute. I mean, we're not going to substitute. We're going to bring out Polytoad. So this is actually not necessarily tricky because we can just go for a Scald and a max Airstream with Kingdra. So we should, I think, be in a really good position because of the fact that, we can Airstream to guarantee the knockout onto Urshifu with the Kingdra, and then we should be able to safely go for a Scald into Incineroar. Yeah, especially now that Urshifu has finished its max, I think even if it goes for a Protect, we are still going to be good, so we can do that. And then pretty safely Scald into the Incin. And I can't see it living more than 2 hits. So yep, makes sense. Go for a Detect right here. We are going to Airstream, which means that Polytoad will be faster than the Incineroar, so we can get the chip damage onto it before we get hit by a Scald. Kingdra is getting a little bit low, but I don't think it's a super big deal. We are going to see how much the Scald does. Scald does half, so yep, Snarl, unfortunate, but what I could... I'm tempted to Geyser into Incin. No, because I don't want to throw this. I think Wormwind into Urshifu and Scald into Incin. We do have Perish Song, so I think that, not Perish Song, Helping Hand. So even if we have to take another Snarl, I feel pretty good. Right, we still have... Do we have one turn? No, this is my last turn of max, which is going to be a little bit tricky because of the fact that now we are going to be relying on Hydro Pump misses. But we do have Scald with Polytoad, which is putting in... Incin should not be able to live... Oh, it does have a Berry. So let's see. Berry is going to bring it back to still probably a 2-hit KO from just Polytoad. But yeah, the amount of Snarls is starting to get a little bit scary. But we are going to have Polytoad trigger back to a significant amount of health. And I think, in this like race, we do just have more health and a way to put on more damage because of the fact that we have 2 Pokemon left. But I still think we can throw this game. Oh, our attack is Muddy Water. Let's go for a Muddy Water and a Scald. Obviously, if we can get the accuracy drop, that's huge. But I don't know. I didn't want to risk the Helping Hand in the event that we missed. And obviously, it didn't matter in the end. But yeah, that was really cool. I think it really was unfortunate that we were up so much, but we still couldn't set up that Perish Song safely. Because, the whole point of this team is to set up Perish Song, and we weren't able to do that. So I'm actually interested. Pretty standard Koba Berry set. Leaf Storm, Weather Ball, Sludge Bomb, Sleep Powder, yeah. We are going to see this bulky Incin, Snarl, Fake Out, Flare Blitz, Parting Shot. I guess Taunt wasn't really a priority, but I guess that makes sense because you do have Torkoal for Trick Room. Torkoal with Yawn, Body Press, Heat Wave, and Protect. So that's actually really cool. They don't have Eruption, which is interesting. I guess they opted for more safer damage. Light Clay, Grimmsnarl with Spirit Break, Thunder Wave, Light Screen, Reflect. I think that would have actually been really scary. And I'm actually shocked they didn't bring it because the whole point of this team is to get knockouts, and Grimmsnarl kind of works to prevent that. And then, this Urshifu was surprisingly scary. I didn't expect it to live a hit from Kingdra, but it did. And it managed to put in some work after that. And then, Defiant Thunderous, Superpower, Wild Charge, Fly, Electroweb. Interesting set, but, it makes sense for what you're trying to do on the team. And, the Assault Vest also makes a lot of sense. So, very cool. It was a fun first battle. Like I said, still bummed that we haven't really used the whole point of this team, but there's still time. And let's keep rocking and rolling and move right to game number 2. All right, game number 2, and oh yikes, it is Spectrier with a Regieleki, Glastrier, Clefairy, a Urshifu, and Rillaboom. What is? I feel like we have to bring Rillaboom. I like Rilla and Ensign for sure. I think it helps with Glastrier and Spectrier and the Regieleki. So I'm kind of tempted to do that as a lead. At the same time, Escavalier is also really good. I think, what is Escavalier's speed? Is Escavalier slower than Glastrier? It does underspeed Glastrier. I could do Instant Gothit. I could just not bring Politoed Kingdra, and I think that's actually the best bet. I like Gothitelle Ensign with Escavalier and Rillaboom. I think the only fear is if I don't get up this Trick Room, I'm in a really bad spot. But I think, yeah, given what my opponent has, Ensign does put on a lot of pressure. The fear, obviously, is if they lead with Spectrier and it has Taunt, or if they lead with, like, Regieleki could also be a problem, but I have the option of faking out into that. And I think it's nice that we're not committing too early to a max. So we are going to see Spectrier and Clefairy. And, okay, so they can't switch out as a result of the, what's it called? The Shadow Tag. Or actually, Spectrier can. So the question is, I feel like it is helping hand offensive Spectrier. I could just Parting Shot into it. What is the item on Rillaboom? It's Miracle Seed. Let's go for a fake out on the Clefairy. I don't really see a reason not to, just to get some extra chip. And I kind of want to scout to see what Spectrier wants to do. Taunting, I think, is going to be the scariest thing, because that means that we don't have a Trick Room up, and then we're kind of forced to do these awkward pivots. If they max Spectrier, I think that that's actually really fine, because then we get a switch into, okay, that's great. We're going to see a, oh wow, that's actually really perfect. They're going to max their Spectrier or their Clefairy. Okay, it is Spectrier, not Clefairy. And now, so this means we have a guaranteed Trick Room up, and we can bring out Escavalier and start going for some big boosts. And we know for a fact that they can't do something like Will-O-Wisp or go for something like that. So Gothitelle brought down to its Sash, which is fine. We can go for like a Taunt or something. What we can, they're probably going to double up into Gothitelle, so we do want to get Escavalier out safely. So I think what we can try to do I care about losing Gothitelle at this point? Not really. I'm going to try and Hypnosis onto Spectrier and go for a... Do I want to Taunt it, or do I want a Parting Shot? I'm going to try and do that, and I'm going to try to... What did I go for? I went for a Hypnosis. I want to actually try and do that and go for a Taunt here, because I feel like you're going to try to knock out Gothitelle. We are going to see the Follow Me, which is great. I mean, not great. It's expected. We are going to be able to Taunt it, so we don't have to necessarily worry about that too much. This is actually an issue, though. If we put it to sleep... Yeah, this is actually bad. If they target into Incineroar... not necessarily. Because now what we can do is what I was afraid of is if they try... Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. You want to keep the Incin alive to prevent a free switch-in. But at the same time, we are at a position where we can now try to put Spectrier to sleep and go for a Parting Shot into it. So we can safely Hypnosis and Parting Shot, and this will let us get in Escavalier hopefully, like, it shouldn't take too much, right? That's what I'm really banking on. Oh, wow, that was a really good lead. That was a really, really good play on their part. Oh, wow, that was such a good play. I mean, it was very obvious. But, okay, so they don't have a max left, but how many turns are left? There are 2 turns of Trick Room, yeah. So I'm going to switch out into Escavalier, and I'm going to Parting Shot onto the Spectrier, just to try and get a little bit more damage. Yeah, that was a really good play, because now I'm going to essentially be forced to only have 1 turn to work with, but we do have max attack Rillaboom with Miracle Seed, so I feel pretty good about being able to one-shot their Spectrier with it and then kind of go from there. So the big question then is, how many turns is your Clefairy going to stay asleep? Because if we what's it called? If we Grassy Glide into it, that's really bad. So we are going to see a Shadow Ball into Rillaboom. It's going to go 199. That's more than I would have liked, and I think that that's just like kind of the result of not having Assault Vest. I think I have to protect this turn, because if they wake up, it's really bad for us. So I want to Steel Spike Clefairy and go for a Protect on Rillaboom, because Escavalier should pick up the knockout pretty cleanly, and so the fear obviously is if they wake up, they follow me to take the Grassy Glide, and then I kind of have to play around Spectrier more than I would have liked. Whereas this way, I can pretty safely just guarantee that I will knock out the Clefairy. Obviously, they can't max, so they can't hit through a Protect, and then we can go for a Grassy Glide this next turn. And I think with the fear of them having something like Regieleki, I can't really afford to go for, or I can't afford to lose Rillaboom. So we are going to see, okay, so we're going to see Regieleki, and we're going to see their 4th as well. So they have an Urshifu, which is a little scary. It's definitely scary. But we do max, and I'm hoping that at this point, we can try to... We do still have Incineroar in the back. Escavalier will be able to pick up some damage, and I think there's 1 turn left, right? That was actually a really smart switch, because you do get Urshifu out safely. We are going to Steel Spike into this Regieleki, and I think we do want to preserve... I think we do want to preserve Rillaboom. I want to get damage. I could knock out... Oh. Steel Spike. I'm going to Steel Spike the Urshifu and switch out. I could Quake. I'm going to Quake. Yeah, I'm going to Quake into Urshifu and switch out into Gothitelle, just because I want to fodder that against their... what's it called? I want to fodder it against their Urshifu if I have to take a hit. They're going to bring out Clefairy, which I think is a very smart play to just try and get some boosts up. And I'm hoping we can just like sacrifice Gothitelle to Urshifu to try and get some good damage. We are going to see the Wicked Blow, nice, into Gothitelle, which is actually a really big deal because of the fact that now we can, we can bring out a Fake Out user and just hit Fake Out into Urshifu to guarantee it's not going to get a hit. We do get some decent chip onto Urshifu, and we are going to get a special defense boost. The issue, though, is I think we try to Steel Spike to knock out the Clefairy and bring out Ensign. I think we go with Ensign just because I feel more comfortable of Ensign taking on Urshifu, and I do want to preserve Rillaboom, I think, for Spectrier. And now what we can do is we can go for a Steel Spike safely into Clefairy, and then Fake Out does have higher priority than Follow Me, so we don't have to worry about Follow Me too much. And then it's the question of how much damage can we really take. Luckily, this Escavalier does have +1 special defense, so that should hopefully be helpful against Alecki and Spectrier. But I think Rillaboom is too valuable for this endgame. So let's kind of see. Let's see what my opponent does. This is going to be... I think this is close, and it really depends on what happens. The big fear right now is... Yeah, okay, so we are going to see Urshifu go for a Protect. That's fine. They are going to wake up. We are going to see... Oh, very, very smart. That's really smart, because now you can... Oh, yeah, you Follow Me the next turn. Okay, good. Definitely good play on my opponent's part. Yeah, that Clefairy takes absolutely nothing. I mean, Escavalier shouldn't be super worried about Regieleki or what's it called? Or Spectrier. So this is still hard because like you can very easily just Wicked Blow into Escavalier. I think we still go for an Iron Head here and a Flare Blitz onto Urshifu. Right? Because what I'm thinking this way is if they go for... The problem is if they go for a Follow Me, they can very easily Follow Me Wicked Blow. And the question then is, what do you target? I don't actually know if Wicked Blow is super effective into anything. But I think if I can knock out Clefairy... We're gonna okay, that's actually fine. They're gonna bring out Spectrier. I don't think that they can... Okay, so they are gonna Wicked Blow into Escavalier. Escavalier lives, which is really big. We are going to be able to Flare Blitz really safely into this Urshifu, and it does not pick up the knockout. That is really not what was supposed to happen. And we're gonna Iron Head and... Okay, we don't pick up either knockout, and that's, to quote, very, very bad. But what am I more afraid of? I think I'm definitely more afraid of Urshifu. So I think we still divide our damage. Because if we can get rid of Urshifu, Rillaboom is in a really good I don't want to say Rillaboom's in a really good spot, because I don't think it is. I don't think my opponent can pick up both knockouts this turn. So I think if we have something next to Rillaboom, we should be okay. We are going to see Shadow Ball into Escavalier. Escavalier holds on, which is great. We do get the special defense drop. I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. And they're going to Wicked Blow into Escavalier. Okay, so they did double up into that, which I think makes a lot of sense, but we now are going to be able to Flare Blitz pretty safely onto their Urshifu. We get the knockout finally. Regieleki doesn't have the best damage into Rillaboom. We are also getting Grassy Terrain recovery, and we could even Protect just to expect them to target into it. Okay, so we are going to see Clefairy. I do expect my opponent to go for a Shadow Ball into the Rillaboom slot, trying to just reduce try and basically knock me out. So I'm actually going to Protect here and go for a Taunt onto Clefairy with the idea that, hey, let's try and recover a little bit more HP to help deal with that Regieleki, and then once we take away the redirection support, we should be good. So as long as they don't target into Ensign, which great read. we are going to just be able to safely taunt into that Clefairy so they can't go for redirection. We can definitely knock out the Spectrier the subsequent turn with Grassy Glide, and then we just have to beat Regieleki using basically Rillaboom, and then I don't see how this Clefairy can really hold on, so we can Grassy Glide here and then go for a Flare Blitz onto Clefairy. We are going to see Clefairy withdraw, which I think is still fine, and this should be a double knockout here. We are going to see Protect from Spectrier, but I think that... Oh, that's actually really smart, because now... We are going to be able to pick up the knockout onto a Lecky, but yeah, now what my opponent is doing is they're trying to set up for taunting. Because yeah, you now try and knock out my Incin while I try to taunt into your Clefairy. So this was actually a really good play from my opponent's part. Yeah, I really understand their thought process here. I think I still try to... I still want to try to go for a Grassy Glide anyway and go for a taunt here, because worst case we do get a good amount of damage. We are going to see that Follow Me come out. And so now the question is, where is my opponent going to go? Grassy Glide is going to connect, do a sizable chunk, which is nice. The Shadow Ball, unless it KOs, should not, or crits should not KO. We do live. 8 is more than 0. We're going to get the taunt off, and that's great. So now we did see them Shadow Ball last turn. So I actually expect them to protect with the Spectrier to try and pick up a KO with Clefairy. And I don't think Incineroar has anything to worry about, so I'm going to go for a Protect on Rillaboom and go for a Flare Blitz onto Clefairy. I think the Protect, is really obvious, but now it's kind of playing some games, because if they... if they call it, that's not even bad, because then I can cross and knock out Clefairy with Rillaboom. But yeah, we are going to see this Protect from my opponent, and I think that that's smart. We are going to be able to have Rillaboom protect this next turn, and then Clefairy, going for some type of attack. Incin almost picks up the KO here, so I feel really safe just going for another Grassy Glide and Flare Blitz, because that should finish it. Because even if they get the double, we will knock out Clefairy with Incin, and then we can finish them off easily. So I'm gonna Grassy Glide here and Flare Blitz into Clefairy. My opponent, needs the double at this point? I think that's what would make... That's probably what they need, right? Okay, they did cancel. I think that was still a really scary match. Not gonna lie, there was a lot of moments where I was afraid that if something went wrong, I think it would have just completely cost me the match. And once again, we didn't bring the Perish part of this team, but I still think what we brought really made sense for what my opponent had, and I think that they just had too many scary things for me to comfortably want to bring the rain. But yeah, it's been long. It's been some really long games. I don't know. Let's play one more, and hopefully we can finally get Perish Song off. So yeah, let's play one more, and I'll see all of you in game number 3. Nice. All right, game number 3. I realized that I actually had a game number 3 and forgot to record, so here we are. Very interesting team for my opponent. It is a Scavalier with Indeedee, Inteleon, Braviary, Gardevoir, and what is it called? Oranguru. So, my opponent has really good ways to set up Trick Room. Interestingly, like Escavalier is really good into their team, but the problem is they also have an Escavalier. So, I mean, we have Gothitelle to reverse Trick Room. Harangu is trying to instruct something. Yeah, Gardevoir makes this scary. I really like Escavalier. It's just figuring out how to bring Escavalier effectively. I kind of want to lead with Rillaboom. Let's lead these two. Rilla, Escavalier, right? I don't think Kingdra really does too much. Neither does Gothitelle's nice for reversing Trick Room, but at the same time I don't really care. The big issue though is the fact that Incineroar is going to have a weakened Flare Blitz because of the fact that we are sending out Politoed. But what I'm thinking is if we do this lead, we can switch out to Rillaboom to try and stop Indeedee from going for a move. I think my opponent actually might have timed out, which if they did is really beneficial for us. But even still, like, I don't know. They cut it really close. So let's see. I think if we see Escavalier and Indeedee, I feel reasonably confident that they timed out. We're going to see, okay, so we're going to see a Rangaroo and Indeedee, which I think it's so tricky. One thing that's interesting is they have a really passive lead. So what I'm actually considering is, what is Fake Out going to do? They're just going to go for Follow Me. So I'm going to just go for a Taunt here and then a Scald on a Rangaroo, just trying to get some damage. And what I'm hoping is if they switch out to their Maxmon, what we can do is we can just go for a Perish Song to... Okay, so we're going to see a switch. And this is most likely... Yep, okay, it is a Escavalier. We are going to see a Escavalier get the special defense boost, which I think makes a lot of sense. God, imagine if I had called that. They're going to just go for a hard... Yeah, unfortunately, we do get the taunt into the wrong slot. But what? We know that Incineroar can deal with their Escavalier. I don't actually know if Escavalier... No. What? We know they have Indeedee. So Escavalier's... I'm going to bring out Escavalier. And I'm just going to go for an offensive Perish Song. Do I want a Perish Song now? Or do I want to try and burn Escavalier? I'm going to go for a Scald onto Escavalier. And I'm going to try and hope that I get the burn. I think this is going to be really tricky because I do expect their Escavalier to be faster than mine under Trick Room. Oh, I brought out my own Escavalier? I feel like that's really stupid. Okay, I thought I brought out Rillaboom. I clearly am not paying attention. Yep, we are going to see the max. And yeah, this is really tricky because of the fact that they have Instruct with Oranguru. And I didn't consider maybe, hey, it's worth taunting this thing. So they're probably going to get 2 special defense boosts. But I think if we can get a burn with Scald, we should be in a really good position. Okay, so they have Ally Switch, which is unfortunate. They're going to Max Quake into our Escavalier. Let's see how much it does. 177 down to 88. So we cannot live another one. I think we go for the Perish Song then. I think we should, given the fact that they have Ally Switch and we can't reliably get damage onto them, I say we go for... Oh, I mean, we did get the burn, just not what we wanted it on. Yeah, because we know that they're going to try some shenanigans. I say we just protect and go for a Perish Song. And let's force them out. I don't actually know how much this does, but yeah, actually, there's not really a good argument for this. We're going to see a Flutterby into Politoed. Oh, ooh. That's really bad. They're going to get the special attack drop. That's going to trigger our Mental Herb. Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to be enough to live another one from... Oh, they're going to Yawn. Okay. That's actually really good for us, because we do set up the Perish Song. We know that they have Yawn on Oranguru. So I'm going to... What? I'm going to try to... I expect their Oranguru to switch out. I want to Mega Horn into this slot and swap out into Incin. Just trying to get as much pressure as possible, because now they can't really stay in too long, and I think I can try and disrupt them with the idea of, hey, let's try and last a little bit longer. And I think Rillaboom will really give me some longevity, especially given the fact that they are using up their max. And so I'm assuming Rillaboom is Gmax. Okay, so Rillaboom is Gmax, which is nice because we do have those really big hits, and we're going to be able to get an attack drop onto this Escavalier. And so that, what I'm hoping is what they go for something into... They go for a Flutterby. We're going to see a Quake, which I think was a really good read on their part, into our Escavalier, but we are going to live as a result of the attack drop, and let's see. Hopefully we can... Okay, we do hit this Mega Horn. This should knock out Oranguru. Nice. That's great, because now we do still have our max if need be, and we do have a lot more pressure, especially now that their Escavalier is kind of really weak, and we can go for Fake Out. So this is an okay position. I think that was really smart, because of the fact that they make it so I can't go for a Fake Out, but this is the last turn of Trick Room. I want to try and just Mega Horn here, and then go for a Parting Shot onto their Escavalier, because I don't see them having too much damage onto Incin at this point. And then what we can do is, we still have Politoed, so we do have more Trick Room pressure in the back, and we do, like I said, still have max, and I think Rillaboom could be an actual good option. Same with, what's it called? Same with Incin, if need be, especially against this Escavalier. And what we actually could have done, we're going to see Protect from Indeedee, which I think was very smart. They're going to Drill Run into Incin, which I think as a result of the Berry is going to, Incin takes that super well. Sugar Berry means that we are going to be able to pretty easily pivot out, and now we can bring out Rillaboom. We can bring out Rillaboom into the Incin slot. Just kidding, we did not. Oh, we did bring Rillaboom. Yeah, so we can bring out Rillaboom into the Incin slot, and then we can pretty safely sub out our Escavalier for Incineroar. I think it's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have Gothitelle. I think Gothitelle would have actually been great, because we could have just switched out and then protected against their Escavalier. So we also have the advantage now that the sun is gone, and I mean, not the sun, the rain is gone. So we can bring out Incin to deal with their Escavalier, expecting a really obvious switch. And then we do have Fake Out on Indeedee. What do they have in the back? Let's do that. I think my fear is definitely if they have Braviary in the back, because I think Braviary has Defiant, right? I don't actually know. Let's quickly check. Wow, this turn. Yep, we're gonna figure out what they have in the back, and it is Inteleon. So that's actually a really good position to be in, because what we can do now is if we pick up this knockout with what's it called? With Rillaboom, we can pretty safely go for a drum solo onto the Inteleon and then have the Ensign for a Scavalier. So what we're going to see in DD Protect, I think that's very smart. Because I don't want to lose Ensign quite yet. Indeedee takes that super well. We know, obviously, that Inteleon can't max, so I need to preserve Incineroar. I can't afford to lose it to something else. Oh, we have a Scavalier. We could just fodder the Scavalier. Yeah, I feel like a Scavalier is kind of useless at this point, and we should just go for a hammer onto the Inteleon. I think it still should work, right? We're going to see them bring out their Scavalier, which is actually a really smart play because they are stalling out my max turns as we do bring out our own Escavalier, but luckily our Escavalier is faster. They are going to protect this turn and not get it, which means that they can go for it again. And so we get some decent damage onto Escavalier. Do we have, we still have Ensign, so I think that's fine because we have the option of just going for Fake Out and something else, and we do have Drill Run is effective. Do we get Iron Head? No. So let's just go for a Drill Run onto their Scavalier because we know it's faster, and then we can G-Max Drum Solo onto the Indeedee, which I kind of expect to go for another Protect because it is pretty safe, which is actually really frustrating. And I think once again this is going to be a game of okay. Oh, so they're going to go for a Helping Hand. Oh, they're going for the horn. What's it called? Mega Horn. But we are going to knock out Indeedee. And what? We have Incineroar, which helps because we can go for Fake Outs. We do connect with this Drill Run, which is going to do a pretty decent chunk. And now, Mega Horn into Rillaboom. Rillaboom lives. That's all I care about. And I think given the fact that Rillaboom lives, we should be pretty good for this end game. I don't know what their Inteleon can do, right? Because obviously if their Inteleon has Protect, we can just go for Protect ourselves. There's nothing really stopping that. There's one turn of Grassy Terrain left, so I'm just going to Drill Run into a Scavalier and go for a Protect on Rillaboom. We do have Ensign to break a Sash on Inteleon. So, I expect Inteleon to Protect, right? Because then you try and... Oh, they don't Protect. Interesting. We're going to see a Snipe Shot onto... Obviously a Scavalier. A Scavalier... Oh, ooh. That's really bad. I did not expect a Scavalier to live. But, this lets us bring out Ensign? This lets us bring out Ensign. We can go for Grassy Glide. We can Fake Out into a Scavalier and go for a Grassy Glide onto Inteleon. So even if they have Protect, we're still in a good position. So let's Fake Out here and Grassy. Cool. Oh no, Grassy Glide. It's not terrain anymore. Oh God, no. Oh God. I think we have to go for it. We have Scald on Politoed if need be, but oh God. I totally forgot that this was the last turn of Grassy Terrain. Okay, this is not over for sure. I think there are... Okay, so we do see no Protect from Inteleon. They are going to snipe shot most likely into Ensign. Oh, into Rillo. Very smart. Because now... Oh, God, that was so smart. We do bring out Politoed. Oh, God, I should have faked out into... Yeah, that was a really bad play. Yeah, because they can snipe shot. Does Politoed have its berry intact? No. I think we have to go for a Flare Blitz onto a Scavalier and a Scald onto Inteleon. I don't... Yeah. Beating that Inteleon was so easy, and I should have just switched out to Politoed. There was really no reason for me to stay in. Why does Snipe Shot just... Yeah, I completely blew this ending. And I don't know why I targeted into Inteleon. I should have 100%, gone for Politoed. Not Politoed, into Scavalier. Because now they just finished me off with another Snipe Shot, whereas I could have had a lot more HP had I knocked out a Scavalier or burned it. Because now, this picks up the knockout. Ugh. That was such a simple endgame. I should have fake outed into a Scavalier, swapped out into... Or no, I should have gone for... I forgot about Grassy Glide. I completely just... I threw that last game. It was... I don't want to say a super easy win, but if I had just Flare Blitzed into... I should have Flare Blitzed into the Scavalier and swapped out into Politoed, or just doubled up into the Inteleon. I should have just gone for fake out into Inteleon and then gone for a Grassy Glide, and I just that play was rough because, like I said, there really was no justification for it. But I mean, I'm glad we came out positive, and I feel like historically in some of these videos I'll go 2-1 with the last battle being a loss. But that mistake really hurt. But you got to keep pushing on. I think maybe I'll play one more with this. I think depending on how the week goes, we'll kind of see what happens. But until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.